What's going on, everyone? It's JJ Zachariason here to talk a little fantasy football, start, sit, Q&A. Lots of stuff going on this week with obviously the coronavirus and Cam Newton testing positive and what's going to happen with that Chiefs-Patriots game and so on. So my bottom line look at this right now is that the Chiefs-Patriots game is going to play tomorrow night, it sounds like. So if you have Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Patrick Mahomes, I would treat them fairly normally. You know, if I had like a replacement that was very, very good, then I'd be fine with starting one of those players over those guys. But generally speaking, you can start them, and it's not like you're starting many New England players without Cam anyway. So I would just start the Chiefs as normal. That's my PSA to start this off. Let's get to these questions. There's lots of them. The first one's from Michael. PPR need 2 wide receivers: Isaiah Ford, Marvin Jones, Michael Gallup, Hunter Renfrow. I like all 4 of these guys today. Isaiah Ford, one of my deep sleepers this week on my podcast. You know, he plays the slot. Seattle's been awful at giving up slot everything this year. And he should see the field more because they could see a negative script. But I would go with Marvin Jones and Michael Gallup. I really like Hunter Renfrow. If you need more of a high floor play, I think that you can go Renfrow over Jones. But I think the ceiling is Jones. And then Gallup is kind of the guy that I definitely would start. Need a flex backup for CEH between David Montgomery and Terry McLaurin. I'd probably go Montgomery. Morning, JJ. How are you risking? I already talked about that one, so hopefully that helps. Cam replacement at quarterback: Mayfield, Fitzpatrick, Minshew, or any other streamers that you're willing to risk. Guys, I love Ryan Fitzpatrick this week. Seattle's been horrific in the secondary. I think that game could be high scoring. It should be high scoring. Fitzpatrick, to me, is the top streamer this week. I think he's a top 10 guy. AJ Green, Darius Slayton, or Andy Isabella. I would go with AJ Green. Thoughts on McLaurin today? Don't love him. Don't love the matchup. He was banged up as well. But it says that you have Debo, who is going to be back, and that's it. That's your only replacement. You're still going with Terry McLaurin. And then Zach Moss or Brian Hill. Both are dart throws, honestly. I think that I would probably lean Moss, but they're both dart throw plays. I like Brian Hill's sort of game environment more. Full PPR, Marquise Brown, McLaurin, or Mike Davis. Pick one in the flex. I'd go with Mike Davis. He saw a huge target share last week. He's been seeing a lot of, he's basically playing the CMC role. So you got to go with Mike Davis. DJ Chark, Marvin Jones, or Preston Williams. I like all of them today. Would probably lean Chark. I know he's coming off the injury, so it's a little bit risky, but Marvin Jones has not produced so far this year. Preston Williams, maybe he's a little bit rusty because of the ACL. Hypothetically, the matchup is there for Preston Williams the most, but I still think I would go with DJ Chark. Debo coming back from injury, or Greg Ward or Isaiah Ford. I would just go with Isaiah Ford. Debo is a risk. Greg Ward, an obvious risk because it's Greg Ward. Isaiah Ford has seen some volume, and like I said, he's going to play the slot. There should be more 11 personnel for this Miami offense. And going up against the Seattle team that's been horrible against slot receivers, I think he's a really good sleeper this week. Full PPR: DJ Chark, Marquise Brown, McLaurin. Pick one and pick one. I guess I already said it was a full PPR. I think you can go with Hollywood, but I would not be surprised if any of the other guys. This is why you're asking the question. Wouldn't be surprised if any of the other guys outperforms them. PPR: Lamb or CEH. I would go CEH. Standard scoring: pick 2, Hunt or Miles Sanders or Will Fuller. I would go with Miles Sanders for sure, just given the volume that he's likely going to see. I think you can go with the running back since it's standard, but I would not be. I love Will Fuller today, so it's a coin flip between Hunt and Fuller. 14-team league: drop Jonnu, J.K. Dobbins, Roethlisberger, or not start a tight end. I would just drop Roethlisberger if you can stream or if you have multiple quarterbacks in your team. PPR: pick 3 to start: Chark, Kupp, Boyd, Ayuk, Gage. I would go with Kupp, Boyd for sure, and Chark. Yeah. Debo is back and no one is talking about it. Can you start him in a pinch versus low end options like Slayton or Higgins? I'd probably go with Slayton in that spot, but I would not. Basically, I wouldn't be trusting Debo. Coming off this injury, we don't know what his snap rate is going to look like exactly. That's why not a lot of people are talking about it. How confident are you that the Chiefs and Pats game played? I already talked about that. Burrow or Fitz? Half PPR: Boyd or Hollywood? I would go with Fitz, but it's close. I also love Joe Burrow today. Half PPR: Boyd or Hollywood? Boyd's safer, so if you need that floor rather than the ceiling, then I would go with Boyd. If you need the ceiling, this is an eruption spot potential for the Ravens offense, so I can understand Hollywood. And PPR: start 1 wide receiver and 1 flex: Adam Thielen, Robert Woods, Daryl, Henderson, or Mike Davis. Man, that sucks because I like Henderson and Davis. I lean Henderson over Davis, but I like them both. And then I would probably play Adam Thielen, but very close. 10-team league, would you drop Chenault for T. Higgins? I mean, they're in kind of the same bucket right now. Probably not, but I like Higgins. I would try to find a way to get him on my team. Need 2 wide receivers to flex out. T.Y. Hilton, Brandon Cooks, Preston Williams, and Justin Jefferson. Really, really like Brandon Cooks today. He had a 20% target share so far this season. He has the same average depth of target as Will Fuller. Really similar peripherals as Will Fuller is what I'm getting at. So I would lock in Brandon Cooks there. I think that you could go, I guess it's of all 3, I would probably bench Preston, even though I like Preston. You said yesterday that Kansas City, New England isn't close to being guaranteed to play this week. What are your thoughts now? Talked about that a little bit, but since I am getting questions about it, I do think that there's like a 90% chance, let's say, that's where my brain is at, that this is going to play. But guys, I'm not an epidemiologist. I don't know exactly what's going to go down with this virus. To me, I'm already shocked that no other New England Patriots player has tested positive. So there is a risk. There's an obvious risk. But the way that I would play it is that if I have an alternative or a decent alternative, like a very good one, that's when I would bench a guy like CEH or Tyreek Hill or whoever. But if not, I would still be playing Kansas City players. I mean, in my lineups, I'm still playing Kansas City players. In my most important league where I need a ceiling this week, Matt Ryan or Live the Stream with Fitz. I mean, Matt Ryan's in a really good spot too. So I think I would still go with Ryan, but I can make the argument for Fitz easily. Thanks for doing this, JJ. You're welcome. Half PPR, pick 1. Jeff Wilson, Preston Williams, Greg Ward, or T. Higgins. I think I'd go with Preston. JJ, who do you like more today for a final flex between T. Higgins and Preston Williams? And are you confident in Julio Jones tomorrow? Yeah, I'm confident that Julio will play tomorrow because of what the coaches were saying and the way things trended practice-wise for Julio. So I would lock Julio in. And then between Higgins and Preston Williams, look, I think they're both like decent sleepers or lower-tiered guys this week and value plays. I would probably lean Preston Williams, but I can understand if you wanted to go Higgins there. Full PPR, Terry McLaurin or Michael Gallup. I'd lean Gallup because of the matchup and McLaurin being a little banged up. Pick 2, Joe Mixon, Kareem Hunt, or Ronald Jones. Probably go with the first 2. Parker, Boyd, or Beckham. I love Devontae Parker today. I'd go with Devontae Parker. Close your eyes and pick 1 half PPR. Okay, I'm going to close my eyes. I can't. I have to read it. Latavius Murray, James White, Jeff Wilson, Joshua Kelly, Malcolm Brown, Zach Moss. Of those, I'm going to go with Latavius Murray. Actually, I might go with Latavius Murray. Need an RB2 and a flex in PPR. Hunt, Gibson, Ingram, or pick up Renfro or Preston Williams. Let's see. I would go with Hunt as the RB2, and then I'd flex Renfro. Pick 2, Joe Mixon, Kareem Hunt, or Ronald Jones. Talked about that one, I think. I'd go with the first 2. Hey, JJ, thanks for everything you do. PPR start 1, Chark, Gallup, or Marvin Jones. I think I'd lean Chark, maybe Gallup. Gallup's game environment might be a little bit better, so maybe I'd go with him because Chark's coming off the injury. I guess I'd go with Gallup. Hey, JJ, thanks as always. PPR Fuller or McLaurin. I think I would go with Fuller just because of the matchup. And again, McLaurin was banged up this week. Robbie Anderson or T. Higgins for the flex. Probably go with Robbie, just given the way that he's been performing. Chris Carson or Ronald Jones. I'd go Chris Carson. There's no Carlos Hyde today, which is actually a bump. I mean, we all thought that Chris Carson wasn't going to play this week, but it's actually Carlos Hyde who's not going to play this week. That bumps up Chris Carson a bit. I like Ronald Jones. I think he's a good RB2 this week, but Chris Carson's in a really good spot. Do I start Gage or MVS Monday night? I would probably lean MVS, but again, very close. I think Gage has the floor just given how he's been used. Sounds like he's going to play too. Pick 2 of 3, Singletary, Hunt, Daryl, Henderson. I would go with the last 2. I would go with the last 2. I think that you can make a case for Singletary over Hunt. Definitely starting Henderson there. I like Henderson a lot this week. David Montgomery or DJ Chark in the flex. Probably Montgomery, just play it safe. Jerick McKinnon or Myles Gaskin. Love Myles Gaskin today, but I think I would lean McKinnon. But I think that you could easily make the case that it's Gaskin. I just worry about the touchdown upside with Gaskin. Carson or Hunt, I go Carson. Will Fuller or Terry McLaurin, I would go with, I think I'm going with Fuller right now, yeah. Devontae Parker or DJ Moore. This could be the DJ Moore week. I mean, his peripherals are there. They're very strong, but I will say Devontae Parker in an unbelievable spot. So it's very close. I think Parker has the higher ceiling at least. I lost my spot a little bit, so I gotta jump down a little bit. AJ Green, Justin Jefferson, or Hunter Renfro in standard. I would go with, I think Renfro still has the floor, even though it's a standard league. But I might go with Justin Jefferson if I needed more of a ceiling. MVS or Edelman, I'd go MVS without Cam there. I'm just worried about the Patriots offense in general. Hawkinson or Dalton Schultz. I love me some TJ Hawkinson today. New Orleans has been really bad against tight ends. Hawkinson's target share numbers have been decent, and even with Kenny Golladay last week, that target share number remained the same and actually increased. Need a win. I think we all need wins, buddy. PPR, 12 team, 2 flex. Do I risk Devontae Adams being out, or do I sub one of Dobbins, LaVisca, or Ayuk? I would risk Adams because I don't think the other options are like that unbelievable. Hey, JJ, love the pod. Thank you. Deep Dynasty question here. Beasley or Robert Tonyan? With John, I think that you can make the case for Beasley. I would probably lean Beasley, just given the position. But I like Tonyan as a deeper streamer this weekend. Choose one, McLaurin, Renfro, or Marquise Brown, non-PPR. I think that I would probably go with Hollywood there. Bills defense or the Chiefs defense, and Carson or Gibson. I think that just here's one of those examples of the Chiefs-Patriots game where I would probably lean going the other direction and just go with the Bills, even though I love the Chiefs defense this week. It's a really, really good spot for them. We know there's a lot of variance with defense. If you're worried, I would just play the Bills defense. If you're not that worried about the game, then just go with the Chiefs defense. If it's my team and I don't have that big of a floor and I'm an underdog, maybe I'd go with the Chiefs. But if I'm a big favorite, I would go with the Bills. Half PPR flex, Kenyon Drake or James Robinson. Thanks, JJ. I think I'd go with Kenyon Drake. I mean, if this is not the spot that Kenyon Drake blows up, then I don't know what we're going to see from Kenyon Drake rest of season. Nick Mullins or Justin Herbert for a super flex desperation. I don't like Herbert today. I don't like the Chargers offense much today. I think I would lean Nick Mullins. Stafford or Fitz. Hard to go against Stafford in this spot with so many injuries to New Orleans. I think I would go with him, but I love me for some Ryan Fitzpatrick today. Can't stress that enough. Amari or DJ Moore. I probably would still go with Amari there. Start 4 and half PPR. This is going to be tough. Devontae, DJ Moore, Edelman, Landry, Hollywood, AJ Green, Larry Fitz. Okay, you're going Devontae, DJ Moore, Landry, and Hollywood. That's where I would go with that. Robbie Anderson or Marquise Brown. I'd go Marquise Brown. Let's see. Naheem Hines, N'Keal Harry, Shenault, Tonyan, Akins, Bernard, and PPR. If I'm starting one of them, I'm going to go Shenault. Who do you pair Burrow with, Higgins or Boyd? Boyd is the dude that he's been thrown to the most, but I think that the lower key one would be AJ Green because all his peripherals are still there. Number 2 in air yards this year behind Calvin Ridley. He's going to regress eventually. So if you're looking for more of a tournament play, that's the direction I would go. But I think Boyd is the number 1 stackable player in that offense with Joe Burrow. Full PPR, big play, bonus flex. David Johnson, Darren Waller, or Marquise Brown. David Johnson's in a great spot today. I'd go with him. PPR, Tyler Boyd or Will Fuller. If you need a floor, it's Boyd. If you need a ceiling, it's Fuller. I think I would just play Fuller because I generally work that way in fantasy. I'm going to always strive for ceiling. Will Fuller or David Montgomery. Again, floor is Montgomery, ceiling is Fuller. Need 3, Daryl Henderson, David Johnson, Antonio Gibson, CEH, Kenyon Drake. That is very, very difficult. It's a standard league. I'm not starting Antonio Gibson there. I wouldn't be sitting CEH, given the situation, but I think that the 3 other options are good enough that you don't need to force it with CEH. So I might just play the other 3 running backs, honestly. Pick 2 flex spots, half PPR, Hawkinson, Jefferson, Higgins, Rojo. I'd probably go with Jefferson and Rojo. Jeff Wilson or Russell Gage. If it's a PPR league, I'd go with Russell Gage. Ceiling Fitz or floor Breeze. Opponent has Kamara and PPR. Look, I have the exact same scenario. I actually picked up Breeze, I picked up Breeze in my home league this week, and I realized that Fitz was still out there, so I got Fitz instead. I'm playing Ryan Fitzpatrick over Drew Brees this week at me. Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson for me. I think it's a blow-up spot. Nice bounce-back game for them. Hey, JJ, 0.5 PPR flex. Scary Terry, Gallup, or Ronald Jones. Rojo would be the floor, I think. Gallup more of the ceiling, so kind of go from there, whatever your roster kind of needs. Stay with CEH or pivot to Boyd, Chark, or Hilton. I think you can stay with CEH in that case. Half PPR, start 3, DJ Moore, Terry McLaurin, Jarvis Landry, Brandon Cooks, and Hunter Renfrow. Love me some Brandon Cooks today. I actually like Jarvis Landry a lot today, too. I might go with those 2 and DJ Moore, but I think that they're all sort of in that same tier. DJ Moore being the highest of those players and the best. Just don't love McLaurin's matchup. Worried about Haskins, worried about the injury. If McLaurin blows up, I'm not going to be surprised. He's the best wide receiver of that group, maybe aside from DJ Moore. But I'm just worried about the environment. Need to replace Cam, Bridgewater, Mayfield, Mullins, Cousins, Carr, Rivers, Foles. I like Baker Mayfield today. That's scary. I think I'll go with Baker there. Pick 2, Jefferson, Landry, or Hilton. I would go with Jefferson, Landry. Half PPR, MVS or Edelman. I think MVS has the better ceiling with the quarterback change. Half PPR, Robbie Anderson, Cole, or MVS. I think I'd go with Robbie Anderson. Fitzmagic to Parker for longest touchdown bonus, sure. Will Fuller or DJ Moore, I'd go DJ Moore. Brandon Ayuk or Marvin Jones, I'd go with Marvin Jones. Carson or Hunt, I would go with Carson. Jeff Wilson, Gage, or Slayton, I think I'd go with Slayton. Will Fuller or David Montgomery, I think I already said this one. Ceiling is Fuller, floor is David Montgomery. Would you trade Connor for Michael Thomas if you had running back depth? I think that's about fair, yeah. Cobb or Isaiah Ford today? I think Cobb's safer, but I think Isaiah Ford's more fun, and we have fun playing fantasy football. Let's just go with Isaiah Ford, because if Isaiah Ford goes off, has a big game, you can look all of your opponents in the eyes, all of your league mates in the eyes, and say, I told you so. Greg Ward or Kareem Hunt as the flex, I go with Kareem Hunt. McLaurin, Justin Jefferson, or Darius Slayton, I'd go with McLaurin there. Dalton Schultz or Logan Thomas, I think it's Dalton Schultz, just because Dwayne Haskins is not very good. Please help, JJ. Singletary or Hollywood Brown, pick 1. Singletary is the floor, Hollywood's the ceiling. Depends on what you need for your roster. Logan Thomas or Adam Troutman. That's another great streamer this week is Adam Troutman. I think Thomas is safer, but I think I might go with Troutman just because, he ran a good bit of routes when Jared Cook went out last week. Good game environment. I'm just worried in general about the Washington offense. I don't know how you can't be going up against Baltimore. Fuller or Chark in half PPR. I'd go with Will Fuller. 2 of Jefferson, Higgins, Preston Williams, full PPR. Would probably sit Higgins of those 3. David Johnson or Daryl Henderson in full PPR. I lean David Johnson, but I love me some Daryl Henderson, man. Matt Ryan or Fitzmagic. I think I answered that one earlier. I'd lean Matt Ryan, but I think it's very, very close. Hey, JJ, thanks for all the help every week. You're welcome. You won me my game last week. Heck yeah, Anthony. That's the way to go. I don't know if I can say hell yeah, but I will say hell yeah. Hell yeah, Anthony. Carson or Mike Davis. I would lean Carson. Will Fuller or Kareem Hunt. Fuller ceiling, Hunt floor. That's the way that I'm generally going to look at Will Fuller right now. Carson or Mike Davis, I just answered that one. Do you like Gronk? I think he's okay enough. High end tight end 2 this week. Half PPR, Mixon, James Robinson, or Kenyon Drake. Who do I sit? I would sit Joe Mixon. It sucks, but because this is the spot for him, right? But I think Robinson's a little bit of a better option than Mixon this week. And then Kenyon Drake just in a great matchup against Carolina. Full PPR, Mike Evans or Will Fuller. I would go with Mike Evans. I know the cornerback matchup isn't there, but he should see a lot of targets without Chris Godwin in the mix. Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Henderson, or just start DJ and Henderson to be safe. Yeah, I mean, look, I think that David Johnson has a good enough floor-ceiling combo this week to sort of just go with him instead of risking that game. But if your risk tolerance is higher and is high, then go with CEH. It's totally fine. So that's just generally the way I look at this. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know exactly whether that game is going to be played or not. And I'm not the kind of analyst that just says, absolutely, this is the direction that you should go if my brain isn't thinking that way. So, I think that it's very close, and it just depends on your risk tolerance. Full PPR, need a wide receiver 2 and a flex. Miles Sanders, Mixon, Robert Woods, and DJ Moore. I would probably go with Moore as my wide receiver 2. And I go with Miles Sanders, I guess. Sucks that you have to bench Robert Woods, though, because he's in a great spot. And Mixon. My goodness. How many players are in your league? 6? Half PPR, drop 1. Gibson, Kelly, Moss, Swift, or Wilson. You have to drop 1. I would drop Wilson, I guess. I'm assuming that's not Russell Wilson. It's Jeff Wilson. Robbie Anderson, Keelan Cole or MVS, half PPR. I'm going to go with Robbie Anderson there. I got to take a sip. I haven't taken any sip of my tea yet. Justin Watson or Latavius Murray, PPR. Murray's the floor. I think Watson's an intriguing play, though. He should play a lot in the slot without Godwin there. The matchup, Chris Harris is out, so the matchup's maybe a little bit better. They still have good cornerback play there. But I might lean Justin Watson. Half PPR, pick 1, McLaurin, Justin Jefferson, or Darius Slayton. I would probably go with McLaurin. JJ, who do you like tomorrow? Valdez, Scantling, or Edelman? I would go with MVS. Matt Ryan or Jared Goff, I'd go with Matt Ryan. Mike Davis or Miles Sanders. I'd go with Miles Sanders, but I can understand the dilemma here because Mike Davis is the better matchup. Hunt, DJ Moore, or Hollywood. I'd go DJ Moore. Are you confident that Calvin Ridley plays tomorrow night? Yes. RB2 standard, Antonio Gibson or Jeff Wilson. I mean, I'd probably go with Jeff Wilson. I think that there's more touchdown upside. 2 for Dynasty, OBJ, Josh Jacobs, James Robinson, and Robert Woods. I would definitely go with Josh Jacobs, and then I'd probably play James Robinson. Ceiling for Fitz, floor, Bree. I already answered that one. Pick 1, half PPR flex, Kareem Hunt, Robbie Anderson, DJ Chark, AJ Green. Pick 1. I guess I'd go with Hunt. James Robinson or David Johnson in standard. Leaning David Johnson there. Matt Ryan or Jared Goff, just answered that one. Hey, JJ, thanks for this every week. You won me my game last week. Hey, thanks. This is Anthony again. He has a different question this time. Hurst or Jimmy Graham? I'd go with Hurst. PPR, Kirk, Latavius Murray, or Justin Watson? I guess Kirk, but I don't feel that confident about that. Play Fitzmagic over Mahomes or cross fingers and leave Mahomes in. I mean, look, I think that realistically that's not a bad play if you're worried about this game. I think I would still play Mahomes because he played out of his mind last week and it'd be tough to bench him. But if you're worried or if you're a big favorite, I think Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to give you a decent floor this week. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. Obviously, me saying this means that he's going to throw 3 picks in the first quarter and we're going to see Tua. But I think that process-wise, logic-wise, matchup-wise, Ryan Fitzpatrick is in a very, very good spot. So I can understand this dilemma. I would probably still go Mahomes, but I get it. AJ Green or T. Higgins, I'm still going with AJ Green. Just the peripherals and the air yards are there. He saw Darius Slay last week. That's part of the reason why he didn't perform. Higgins, Pascal, or Visca. I think I'd lean Visca, but it's close between him and Higgins. Prescott at quarterback today. Yeah, you're not benching Dak. JJ, you're the best. Thank you. No question this time. Just wanted to say that. Thank you, Bethany. I appreciate that. 12 team need a spot to replace Newton, drop AJ Green or Brandon Cooks. I guess I would be dropping AJ Green. Hey, JJ, thanks for helping each week. You're welcome. Do you like Jeff Wilson this week? Debating him or AP this week? Yeah, I mean, I think that you can go Jeff Wilson and just hope that he finds the end zone. Herbert or Wentz? Can I say neither? I don't like either of those guys. I guess I would go with Herbert, but you don't have any better option than that. Pick 1 full PPR, Scotty Miller, Joshua Kelly, Keelan Cole. I'd risk it with Scotty Miller. I mean, realistically, if he wasn't banged up, he would be probably a wide receiver 4, high end 4, maybe low end 3 even. So I'd go with Scotty Miller. Logan Thomas or Mo Alley Cox. Got to go Logan Thomas. My boy Mo Alley Cox is not running enough routes right now. Lockett or Cooper. I like Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett is arguably the top wide receiver this week. Half PPR, pick 2, James White, Jeff Wilson Jr., Cole Beasley, or Antonio Gibson. Thanks for doing these streams. I'd probably go with Beasley and Wilson. Let's see. JJ, love the show. Which one would you start in PPR? Gallup, Landry, McLaurin, Jonathan Taylor. I would go with Jonathan Taylor. What do you think of T.Y. Hilton this week? Debating him over Devontae Adams. I would play Devontae Adams. Latavius Murray or Gio Bernard, half PPR. I'd go with Latavius. Sounds like Mixon is fine, so Gio's not going to get any additional run this week. Mike Davis or Chris Carson. I'd go with Chris Carson. Jimmy Graham, Hunter Renfrow, like it says Hunting Renfrow, or Keeling Cole. JJ, pick 1, thanks. I'd go with Renfrow there. Greg Ward or Renfrow, I'd go with Renfrow there. I like Renfrow a lot, guys. Buffalo's been really bad against slot receivers this year. Landry or Galladay, I know, but I have a weird feeling. Look, I like Jarvis Landry this week, so I have that same weird feeling, Darnell, but I would still go with Kenny Galladay because I have an even weirder / better feeling about Babytron. 2 PPR flex, Thielen, Chark, Mike Davis, Keenan Allen, David Montgomery. Man, that's rough. I mean, rough in a good way, but it's rough. I'd probably go with Mike Davis and Adam Thielen. Need to drop 1 half PPR. J.K. Dobbins, Joshua Kelly, Alexander Madison, Brian Hill. Love your work. I would drop Brian Hill. And thanks for consuming my work. Appreciate it. GB or Wentz. I don't know what GB is off the top of my head. Am I missing something? Probably. It's probably a quarterback's initials that I can't think of. Hines or Gibson in full PPR, probably lean Gibson. Odell or Parker, I like Parker more. Need to drop 1. I just answered that one. Henry or Gesicki, I love me some Mike Gesicki today because he plays the slot a lot. He should have a nice game against Seattle. Would you start Terry over Gallup or Landry? I think that you can make the case for sure, but I think they're all in the same tier. Just go with the game stack and go with Gallup and Landry. Is Gio a safe drop or is he a good stash with Mixon a little bit banged up? I mean, he's just like any other handcuff. So if you can get a guy like Chase Edmonds for Gio, then I would rather have Chase Edmonds than Gio because I think there's more upside. So it just depends on what's out there. I would drop him, though, if you need space. Who do I start at wide receiver? Mike Evans, Lockett, Kupp, or Keenan Allen? Lockett of those, but they're really, really good options. I mean, if you can't get all 4 of them in your lineup, that sucks. McKinnon or Ronald Jones, probably lean McKinnon. Think that his receiving work is going to look a little bit better. I'm hoping we see a little bit of Keyshawn Vaughn today. Please, Tampa Bay, let us just see some Keyshawn Vaughn. But I would go McKinnon over Ronald Jones. I think Jones, though, is still, an RB2, lower end RB2. Thanks, JJ. You can use this comment too. It just scrolled away. Take a sip of tea. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Hines or John Brown. Probably go with John Brown. Gallup or Hollywood. Man. I guess Gallup because the environment's a little bit better, but they're in the same tier for me. Marvin Jones, Ayuk, Jefferson. I would probably go with Marvin Jones, but I think Jefferson's the safest option just because. Oh, sorry, Green Bay or Houston, not Green Bay or Wentz. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. I guess Green Bay. Hey, JJ, love the show. Actually, I would go with Houston. Sorry. Love the show. Pick 2, Chark, Fuller, Keenan, half PPR. I'd go with the last 2. Pick two full PPR, Hurst, Renfro, or Landry. I'd go with Renfro and Landry. DJ or Carson. I think I would go with Carson, just given that Carlos Hyde is inactive. Amari Cooper or Devin Singletary. I'd go with Amari Cooper. Fitz or Mayfield. I would go with Fitz. MVS, Preston, Traquan, and Ward. Need 2. I'd go with the first 2. Pick 2, please. Hunter Henry, Brandon Cooks, and Hunter Renfro in the 2 flex spots. I'd bench Henry, I guess, because I really like Brandon Cooks. I really like Hunter Renfro. I'd go with those 2. MVS, McLaurin, or Preston Williams need 1. Probably go with McLaurin there, but it's close, I think. Devontae Parker or Jerick McKinnon, I go with Devontae Parker. Pick 3 to start. Kenny Golladay, Devontae Parker, Will Fuller, Tyler Boyd. I would bench Boyd there, I guess, because I just like the other 3 a lot. Pick 2, Devontae, McLaurin, Chark. Probably go with Devontae and McLaurin, I guess. It's close between him and Chark. I might have even said Chark over McLaurin earlier in the stream. That's how close it is. I have Ridley and Adams picked up. MVS's insurance. If one can't go Monday, should I be worried about both missing? I don't think so. Hey, JJ, you are the king. I'm not the king. Gronk, Mo Alley Cox, or Robert Tonyan. I think I would go with Gronk and just see if he continues to see that slight uptick in targets and routes run, etc. 2 quarterback league and rescheduled games killed me. Haskins or Hoyer as QB2. I mean, I guess Haskins could end up with negative points today against Baltimore. 2 PPR flex, Thielen, Chark, Mike Davis, Keenan Allen. I already answered that one earlier. I'm going to scroll down a little bit more. Debo or Gage, non-PPR, I'd go with Gage. Fuller, Devontae Freeman, Burkhead, Hunt. I would go with Fuller. Gesicki, Schultz, or Wilson Jr. in half PPR, I go with Gesicki. Emmanuel Sanders, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, I'd go with CeeDee Lamb. Daryl Henderson or Beckham, I'd go with Henderson. Mike Davis or Josh Jacobs, I'd still go with Jacobs. McKinnon or Hunt, I think I'd lean Hunt. Zach Moss or Jeff Wilson, I would probably go with Wilson slightly, but I can make an argument either way. Daryl Henderson or Mike Davis, I like Henderson just a little bit more. Boyd versus Fuller, I think Boyd is the floor, Fuller's the ceiling. McLaurin or DJ Moore, I like DJ Moore. Johnson or Mike Davis, that's David Johnson. I'd probably lean him, but again, same tier, very, very close. Waller or Andrews, I like Andrews a little bit more. Ford or MVS, I'd still go with MVS, but as I've been saying on the show, I like Isaiah Ford as a nice deep sleeper. Jeff Wilson or Antonio Gibson, I think you can go with Wilson, just given the matchup for Gibson. Marquise Brown, Preston Williams, Hardman, Jefferson, and PPR, I would go with Hollywood. Gallup, Wentz, or Lamb in the Superflex. I think I'd still go with the quarterback. White or Kelly in half PPR. I would probably go with Kelly, but I don't like either of those options. Maybe I'd go with White, actually, of those 2. Hoyer or Mullins. I'd probably go with Nick Mullins. Cooper Kupp or DJ Chark. I would go with Cooper Kupp. Love your podcast, sir. Thank you. Schultz or Graham in half PPR. I would go with Schultz. I'll try to get the last couple as quick as I possibly can. Jacobs or Mike Davis, I'd go Jacobs. Jeff Wilson or Latavius Murray, I'd go Wilson. How confident are you in waiting on Julio Jones? Pretty confident. Gaskin or Gibson, I would go with Myles Gaskin. Devontae Adams or LaVisca, I would play Devontae Adams. McLaurin or Hollywood Brown. Again, I think that this one's really, really close. I think Hollywood is probably the play because of all the environment sucks for McLaurin. He's been banged up. Dwayne Haskins is bad. I think I would lean Hollywood, but it's very close. Hayden Hurst or Jordan Akins, I'd go with Hayden Hurst. Last one, bench one, Higgins, Hunter Henry, TJ Hawkinson. Probably would bench Henry, but it's close between him and Higgins. I love me some TJ Hawkinson today. Thank you all for stopping in. I need to rest my voice a little bit after all of that. You can follow me over on Twitter at LateRoundQB. Make sure you subscribe to this stream every week and to this page, this YouTube page, so that you hit this stream every week. We do other shows as well throughout the week that'll help you win your fantasy titles. Good luck in week 4, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I will talk to you next week.